in OKC again with KD, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and them dudes. When we look at this OKC team versus that team, specifically the core guys, the big three, which team is better in y'all opinion?
I think it's a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really hard question because when you look at the old OKC team, if you look at just the 3 stars, you would say that team is better. You're Harden, you're Russ, you're KD. But when we say as a whole, a collective, as a team, it's almost like this team may be a little bit more balanced, I would say, than OKC. I think that OKC of late, or that KD team, they were like, the Lakers like to use this term, top heavy. You didn't get a lot. I ain't gonna say you don't get a lot, because I think Kendrick Perkins was a vital part to that team. He was like your anchor. Right. But I think this team is a more balanced and a more balanced team that's more fit to win a championship.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the old school trio. It sounds crazy even calling them old school,
right?
Especially since they all 3 of them in the league. And I do agree with Dalen. Like, on paper, from the first man on the roster to the last man on the roster, this team is deeper. They were top heavy, but at the end of the day, man, they had 3 future MVPs on that team.
Yep.
They had 3 MVPs. So for me, I'm gonna have to go with them. And they ran into LeBron James in the Heat, like, and they were young. They were like at Edwards' age right now. But made it to the finals and had to face Bron at his best, arguably at his best. Same thing with D Wade, Chris Bosh. But yeah, this team has the chance. If they win it, they're the best OKC team ever. Period. Just because they won the title. So they have the chance from making it a debate or argument to making it fact. They got that opportunity. And luckily on the other side, they don't have a Miami Heat. They don't got a LeBron James in his prime, right? Like, that's not a diss to New York or Indiana. That it's just
right. It just is
they
what
not
it
the
is.
big 3 Heat.
Yeah. Nah, no doubt. And I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to go on the other side, man. I'm gonna have to run with the young boys. And I understand that OKC, the old school OKC with Russ, Harden, and KD, they all won an MVP, future MVPs. But right now on this team, you have the current MVP, you have a guy in Jalen Williams who made an All NBA team and All Defensive Team in this same year as SGA winning MVP. And then Chet Holmgren is still coming into his own. He's one of, the best shot blockers in the league. He's one of the, most versatile big men. And I think he's the one, obviously, like, I feel like KD, Russ, and Harden at that time was still trying, as great as they were. I think they were more talented, but I think they still were figuring out how to play together.
With each other, right.
I feel like SGA, J-Dub, and Chet, they know where they stand. They know, who's getting the ball. They know who's the leader. There's no question. You remember all the arguments you used to see on, First Take with who should take the most shots. Westbrook is shooting, 10 more shots a game than KD. KD needs to be this. You don't hear that with these dudes.
No.
They know the game's close, the game's on the line. We trying to get the ball to SGA. If we need to help out and make an open shot, we here for that, but we go play D, we go do it. It's no question. So, like, just because of the chemistry, and then like Dalen said about SGA earlier, his leadership and him being on top of the totem pole and everybody understanding that, it trickles down to the entire roster. And everybody falls in place. And that's why I picked the new OKC Thunder over the old OKC Thunder. But that's tough. That is tough.
And it's pretty even. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's a super big gap between them, but I just think this group of players from 1 to 10, 1 to 12, however many players, I think this is a better flowing team.
Mm-hmm.
That OKC team of the past. Because like Jelani said, you have 3 future MVPs on that team.
Crazy.
Like that, I can't think of the owner name of that time, but hey, he needs some applause because he does a hell of a job of recruiting and scouting talent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And who knows if that OKC team, if they stay together, if their egos don't clash.
Yep.
Maybe they would have pulled out a finals, a championship. But I just think at that time, this was their moment where they needed to go through that in order to kind of build in the future. But I just think egos kind of played a part, and it splintered that group where it didn't have to. And I see with this group, there is no splinter, there is no ego. I feel because even in the interviews, you see all of them. You don't just see one. And that's why I say as a team, that team is a better collective.
True. Nah, but yeah, like you said, it's you know, I don't think there's really a wrong pick either way because you know both teams is that you know like you got a team that had 3 future MVPs, which is you know that's insane. That is insane.
Yeah, man. And shout out to OKC as a franchise.
Yeah,
because ever since they've been in Oklahoma, you know, drafting Kevin Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. No trades, none of that. And then they flipped all those guys for the guys you see today. So they flipped all of that for the guys you see today. So shout out to Sam Presti and the ownership team over there, man. They do a good job.
That's wild, and man,